When it comes to the vanishing of Ethan Carter, the less you know about the game when you play it for the first time, the better. But to give you any idea of what the game is all about, I'll let the game introduce itself.
Ethan Carter I didn't know, but he knew who I was. When the police won't help you and the priests don't believe you, you call on Paul Prospero. You call on me. If you're a kid like Ethan, you're right, plenty do. Ethan's letter started out just like any other fan mail, but soon there were mentions of things no little boy should know about. There are places that exist that very few people can see. Ethan could have drawn a map. I hadn't entered Red Creek Valley yet, but already I could feel its darkness reaching out for me. Finding Ethan Carter wasn't going to be as easy as knocking on his door. I was too late for that. To find Ethan, I had to figure out what this place was trying to hide from me.
So you are playing as Paul Prospero in this exploration adventure game, a detective with special skills who's in the search for Ethan Carter in Red Creek Valley. Everything told so far is pretty vague. You don't really know much about the detective you're playing or anything else. But exactly this unraveling of the story and everything around it is the goal of the game. This is a narrative experience that doesn't hold your hand, is the first thing the game is telling you. Which sounds limiting, like there's nothing much to do to begin with, but is actually giving you so much freedom to experience the story and world in your very own unique way. From the get-go, for example, you can explore Red Creek Valley to the near end without limitations, though to successfully solve the mystery that surrounds this place, you have to solve each and every one of the puzzles that are scattered around this large area. In every adventure game, the puzzles are at its core, and the vanishing of Ethan Carter doesn't go the traditional way with an inventory full of items that mostly seems very arbitrary. While the game has no heart, everything works more intuitively, and while you're collecting items, their use and placement is very straightforward. In general, the game presents you with two different kinds of puzzles. In one kind, you solve very unique puzzles that each revolve around one particular theme. Solving these will let you have many magic moments that demonstrate what the medium of games is capable of accomplishing. For me, these puzzles alone made my time with the vanishing of Ethan Carter worthwhile. But I can't and won't tell you more about them, to not diminish your experience with the game. As a detective, the second kind of puzzles might be more familiar, as they revolve around crime scenes, where your task is to put things back together, literally. All of the puzzles are logical and limited to an area, which diminishes frustrations. The first puzzle might take you a couple of moments, but when you successfully solve one, you understand how they work. As a rule of thumb, though, the game greatly rewards your effort in exploring. The more you explore, the easier the puzzles become. I rarely found myself stuck, unable to solve a puzzle, because I was very fond of the world and kept exploring, which rewarded me every time I looked very closely. While puzzling might be the biggest part of the gameplay the vanishing of Ethan Carter has to offer, experiencing Red Creek Valley is the most humble one. While in many other games running is a tool for pacing, in Red Creek Valley everything feels so organic and looks so gorgeous that you find yourself taking a screenshot every 2 seconds. So running actually becomes worth your while when you are fully drawn into the world. I really can't emphasize enough how beautiful Red Creek Valley really is. And it's not only that, the soundtrack of the game is stellar as well. Every area has a theme track that underlines the mood of it, as well as a sound effect and music create a subtle tension that gives you an ominous feeling that something bad will happen. And the game accomplishes that horror-esque tension without constantly reminding you that you should be scared, like for example Outlast did, where the protagonist you play is groaning permanently to a point where it is so overused that it completely loses its effect. The Vanishing of Ethan Carter creates a subtle tension rather organically while being believable and feeling real, so you rarely get reminded that you are in a video game. All of Red Creek Valley is interconnected, so you can travel through it all without ever facing a loading screen, and there are no constant reminders of what button to press. This absence of cognitive dissonance combined with the storytelling has quite an effect on me, that I never experienced that well before. But just to get to know its looks and sounds alone, you have to take a walk in Red Creek Valley, and I assure you that you will get drawn into the story quickly, while you get this ominous feeling driving you to see it through the end and finding out about Ethan Carter. On the technical side, while the game is so good looking, it also takes some hardware to run it, so if your PC is a couple of years old like mine, you might run into some issues now and then. The frame rate sometimes drops significantly, but if you avoid sprinting, you mostly look at a solid frame rate. On a side note, I would love to see this game on Oculus Rift someday, as it might be a perfect fit. All in all, The Vanishing of Ethan Carter is a very narrative-driven game that demonstrates how there are no boundaries when it comes to storytelling in video games. While you try to constantly make sense of everything and solving the mystery, your expectations get quickly destroyed over and over again. So if you can appreciate the freedom of an exploration adventure game combined with the intuitivity and beauty of Red Creek Valley, you will totally adore this game. But when you mostly play games for a depth in gameplay and don't play for the storytelling involved, I wouldn't recommend this game to you. When you really commit to the world and story of The Vanishing of Ethan Carter, you will get a weird feeling that will stick with you for a while. And it's great that a video game can accomplish that.